So here's the thing. Shedeur Sanders hasn't even started an NFL regular season game, and yet somehow, he's already one of the most talked about quarterbacks in the league. And not because he's throwing tantrums, stirring controversy, or soaking up endorsement deals like a sponge. No, he's being talked about because he came back from an injury, stepped onto the field at Browns camp, and quietly reminded everyone exactly why he's the future of this franchise, even while the spotlight tried to spin the story somewhere else.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
This isn't a kid who's just living off his last name. This isn't someone coasting on hype. What we're seeing at Browns camp is something else entirely. A young quarterback sharpening his tools, blocking out the noise, and proving, one perfect spiral at a time, that he's not just here to play, he's here to lead. But of course, in true football fashion, that kind of rise can't happen without a side of drama. Because while Shedeur's been showing off clean footwork, laser-precise timing, and the kind of poise you don't usually see in a rookie fresh off rehab, somehow the conversation has drifted away from his actual performance and into the usual swirl of nonsense. Why is he smiling so much? Why is the crowd so obsessed with him? Why does he carry himself like he belongs already? Maybe because he does? Let's rewind for a second. Not long ago, Shedeur was recovering from an oblique injury. The kind of injury that messes with your core, your mechanics, your confidence, everything. And for a quarterback, that's no small thing. That's not just physical rehab. That's mental warfare. But when he returned to camp, no hesitation, no rust, no fear. He picked up where he left off. Actually, scratch that. He leveled up. His release? Quicker. His reads? Sharper. His pocket movement? Like he had a GPS in his cleats. And then came that throw. You know the one. The fade route. Deep corner. Receiver McDonald barely gets separation. The defense is tight, the window's closing, the margin for error is basically non-existent. And bam, Shedeur drops it in like he's tossing a coin into a soda can from across the room. Silence on the sideline. Then cheers. Then the reporters start scribbling. Then the Twitter accounts light up. That was the moment. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't cocky. It wasn't accompanied by some Dion-inspired celebration. It was just elite. And here's what makes it even more impressive, the context. While other quarterbacks in Browns camp have been stumbling, cough Dylan Gabriel cough, and veterans like Kenny Pickett look like they're struggling to find rhythm in a system that's clearly not built for them, Shedeur is doing the opposite. He's not just surviving, he's thriving. But of course, in classic media fashion, some folks couldn't just talk about the football. Because heaven forbid a young black quarterback be confident, joyful, and talented all at once without it turning into a personality issue. Suddenly, the conversation shifts. People aren't breaking down his throws, they're debating whether he's too polished, or too branded, or just another media creation. You know, the kind of stuff no one ever says about a smiling, white quarterback from the SEC. Let's be real. If Shedeur Sanders was named Shane Davidson and played for Alabama, his fade route to McDonald would have been broadcast with orchestral music and slow-motion replays on every network in America. Instead, we get think pieces about how media hype might be hurting him. Come on. You want to talk about media hype hurting someone? Let's talk about the guys getting praised before they even throw a completion. The guys getting excuses written for them like it's part of their rookie contract. Because when it comes to Shedeur, the bar keeps moving. He's either too flashy, or too calm, or not experienced enough, or somehow, still in the shadow of his father, despite building his own resume, his own poise, his own name every single day at camp. Let's talk about that shadow for a second, shall we? Yes, his father is Deion Sanders. Yes, that name comes with legacy, expectations, scrutiny, and a whole universe of opinions. But what Shedeur's doing now, that's his work. His recovery, his throws, his footwork, his leadership, his comeback. It's not Deion stepping into the pocket and taking hits. It's Shedeur. And the fact that people still frame his success as some kind of bonus feature in Coach Prime. The extended universe is not just lazy, it's disrespectful. Because right now, he's rewriting the rulebook on what a young QB can be. Poised and passionate. Fun and focused. Charismatic and disciplined. He's showing up to practice with a smile and leaving with everyone talking, not because of some viral quote or flashy celebration, but because he's just that good. It's like the league was prepared to dislike him for everything except the actual football. And now that the football is undeniable, they don't know what to do. And look, this isn't just about Shedeur Sanders. This is about how the league still reacts when young black quarterbacks show joy, when they show confidence, when they own the space around them. It makes people uncomfortable. They don't know whether to praise it or panic. So instead, they bury it under concerned trolling about distractions or focus. Newsflash. The only people distracted right now are the ones who can't stop talking about the distractions. Because Shedeur? He's locked in. He's not clapping back on social media. He's not name-dropping. He's not feeding the narrative. He's just showing up, putting in the reps, and letting his throws speak louder than any headline ever could. And that, ironically, is why this comeback is so insane. Not because it's explosive or emotional or Hollywood-level dramatic, but because it's exactly the opposite. It's controlled, focused, precise. It's a quarterback turning practice into proof, turning potential into presence, taking all the noise around him and treating it like it doesn't even exist. And that is how you win in the NFL. Not by talking louder, but by letting everyone else talk themselves into corners while you keep stacking plays, stacking respect, stacking trust. At this point, Shedeur Sanders isn't just proving that he belongs in the NFL. He's showing that he might be the most mature guy in the building. Because while veterans are scrambling, coaches are hedging, and media personalities are spinning their wheels, Shedeur is quietly building a case that can't be denied much longer. He's not here for the hype. He's not here for the name. He's not here to make a point. He's here to win. And if the Browns are smart, they'll see what's right in front of them. A quarterback who's not just physically ready, but mentally ahead of the curve. A quarterback who came back from injury and didn't just pick up where he left off. He took the lead. So the next time someone says Shedeur Sanders is just hype, show them the tape. Show them the footwork. Show them the fade. Show them the teammates who are quietly backing him. Show them the system he's mastering faster than anyone expected. And then ask them this. If this kid isn't the future, then who is? Because right now, Shedeur Sanders isn't just proving he belongs. He's proving the league better get ready. Because the comeback isn't coming. It's already here. And if that comeback is already here, then someone needs to tell the NFL to stop sleepwalking through it. Because while most rookie QBs are still figuring out where the bathroom is at the facility, Shedeur Sanders is out here looking like the most prepared man in the room. Not just on the field, but in every room. Film sessions? He's asking questions that coordinators didn't expect from someone this early in their career. Post-practice debriefs? He's staying behind to run reps with second-string receivers, building chemistry that most QBs don't bother with until October. Interviews? Calm, measured, authentic. No media training gimmicks. Just Shedeur, confident, composed, and very aware of the circus trying to build around him. And still he doesn't flinch. It's actually kind of poetic. The louder the noise gets, the quieter he becomes. While everyone else is yelling over one another, trying to define him, Shedeur's out there defining himself, one read, one throw, one decision at a time. And it's driving some people absolutely crazy. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Shedeur Sanders threatens the narrative. He's a new prototype. The poised young QB who's not pretending to be humble, but also not obsessed with proving he's more than just the son of a legend. He is the son of Deion Sanders. He is confident. He is talented. And guess what? That's not a scandal. That's not a distraction. That's just true. It's like the NFL is staring at a perfectly gift-wrapped franchise quarterback and going, okay, but what's the catch? Spoiler, there isn't one. That's what's so funny. If Shedeur were putting on some act, trying to be fake modest or overly rehearsed, they'd probably eat it up. They love that in young players. But the fact that he's walking into this league knowing exactly who he is? Oh no, that's dangerous. And while everyone's fixated on the off-field drama, is he too confident? Is the hype too big? Will he crack under pressure? They're missing the most important piece of this entire puzzle. Shedeur Sanders is actually playing really good football. And not good for a rookie. Not flashes of brilliance. Not shows potential. We're talking good. We're talking sharp reads. Perfect timing. Hitting tight windows on third and long like he's in mid-season form. He's playing with a rhythm that quarterbacks don't usually find until year two, if they're lucky. So while the media spins itself into another hot take tornado about whether he's ready, Shedeur's already proving that question doesn't even matter anymore. He's ready. The only question now is whether the Browns are smart enough to recognize it. Let's be honest. This is a franchise that's made some questionable calls in the past. You've seen the jersey. You know the meme. It's a miracle they haven't run out of quarterback names to write on that thing. So when you got a guy who's clearly rising, who's winning over teammates, who's outperforming your backups, who just came off a textbook perfect injury recovery and still has the city buzzing, and you don't capitalize on that? That's not just conservative coaching. That's sabotage. And don't let anyone tell you it's too soon. This isn't about age or experience or waiting your turn. This is about momentum. And Shedeur Sanders has it. You can feel it. In the huddle, when players lean in a little more. On the sideline, when guys stand up during his reps. In the press conferences, when coaches get that nervous edge in their voice because they know they've got something special. They just don't know how to protect it without messing it up. The irony? The Browns could have their moment. This could be it. The shift. The redemption arc. The point in the movie where the music swells, and the guy nobody believed in finally gets his shot and proves them all wrong. It's right there. And instead, they're dragging their feet, waiting for some kind of what? Official NFL permission slip? You don't wait on players like Shedeur Sanders. You build around them. You let them grow in the fire. You let them take the hits. You let them screw up, fix it, and come back sharper. Because that's how great quarterbacks are born, not from endless protection, but from early trust. You trust the work. You trust the reads. You trust the fact that even after a physical setback, Shedeur came back better, stronger, smarter, sharper. And still, some folks can't get past the fanfare. As if people caring is somehow a bad thing. Let's break this down. People love Shedeur. That's not a PR problem. That's a gift. The Browns haven't had a quarterback that fans actually rallied around in years. Most of the time, it's been a wait-and-see situation. But with Shedeur, people are invested. They care. They show up. They talk. And that includes the critics. Because yeah, there's still those voices out there saying he's just a social media QB, or he hasn't proved anything yet, or he's not the type to succeed in Cleveland. To them, I say define type. Because the only type that matters is the one who shows up every day, elevates the practice squad, earns the respect of the locker room, and puts the ball where it needs to be. And you know what that sounds like? A starter. Not a mascot. Not a backup. A starter. So while the world keeps trying to shape Shedeur into whatever narrative suits their angle, too much flash, not enough grit, too confident, not serious enough, blah blah blah, he just keeps showing up. Keeps putting in the work. Keeps throwing darts. Keeps winning quiet battles on the practice field. And when the real games begin, don't be surprised if Shedeur Sanders is the one under center. Don't be surprised if that comeback becomes something bigger, like the beginning of a new era in Cleveland. And don't be surprised if the critics go quiet the moment the scoreboard lights up with his first win. Because this kid's not here for a good story. He's here to rewrite the whole damn book. So tell me, is the league ready? Because Shedeur Sanders already is. Now it's just a matter of time before the Browns have to admit it, too. And let's be honest, for a team like the Browns, time is not exactly their best friend. Every day they delay naming Shedeur Sanders the starter is another day they risk letting history repeat itself. Because if there's one thing Cleveland knows how to do, it's sabotage their own potential. This city has been starved for greatness under center. They've had talent, they've had flashes, they've had moments, but sustained leadership at quarterback? A face of the franchise who actually looks like he can wear that pressure without folding under it? It's never stuck. But now, with Shedeur, they finally have a shot at something different. Something real. Not just another name on the jersey graveyard of QB's past, but a leader, a builder, a tone setter. And somehow, that's controversial? It's like the football gods handed the Browns a cheat code, and the franchise is too scared to press start. Instead, we're stuck in this bizarre limbo, where Shedeur Sanders is doing everything right, everything you'd want a future QB1 to do, and still being talked about like he's some wild card waiting to combust. Let's get one thing straight. Shedeur isn't combusting. He's calculating. Watch him during camp. Eyes scanning, taking in every angle, every motion. He doesn't just know where his receivers are. He knows where they should be. He adjusts mid-play like a vet. He resets without panicking. His composure is surgical. And no matter how chaotic things get around him, whether it's a blown protection or a media storm, he stays cool. Not fake cool. Not performative. Look at me cool. Earn cool. That's what separates Shedeur from the rest. He's not out there trying to prove he's a star. He's just quietly becoming one. And let's talk about the team dynamic for a second, because it's not just the fans who see it. You can feel the subtle shift on the field. Veterans nodding when he walks into the huddle. Rookies gravitating toward him like he's already the guy. Defensive players chirping less when he's under center, because deep down, they respect what he's doing. Those are the signs, the quiet confirmations, that a leader is emerging. Not because the coaching staff gave him the title, but because the locker room already has. Now, you'd think a coaching staff, any coaching staff, would recognize when something is this organic, this natural. You'd think they'd lean in. But instead, we get non-answers from Kevin Stefanski. Press conferences full of vague language like quarterback competition. Still evaluating. And we're not there yet. Not there yet? What exactly are you waiting for? Because if Shedeur's work ethic, football IQ, and composure aren't enough, what is? Do you want him to juggle flaming footballs? Walk across Lake Erie? Build the stadium himself? The indecision at this point feels less like caution and more like cowardice. And look, I get it. Naming a rookie starter is risky. It opens you up to scrutiny. If he fails, the finger points squarely at you. It's easier to play it safe, to hide behind process, to buy yourself time by pretending you're still unsure. But time doesn't care. And momentum? It has a short memory. Shedeur is hot right now. He's winning reps, he's winning people over, and most importantly, he's winning respect. You can't manufacture that. You can't delay it. You either ride the wave or get swallowed by it. And if the Browns don't act soon, that wave might crash, leaving behind nothing but regret and another season of what-ifs. Meanwhile, the critics keep trying to poke holes in his rise. He hasn't played a real game yet. Sure. And yet somehow, without a single official NFL snap, he's still managed to outshine guys who have. Still managed to shake the depth chart. Still managed to make the entire fan base pause and go, wait, is he already better than what we've got? That's not hype. That's impact. He's just writing his dad's name. Yeah, because having Deion Sanders as your father definitely makes throwing pinpoint fades and reading blitz packages easier, right? Let's be clear. Shedeur's lineage might open doors, but it sure as hell doesn't keep them open. If anything, it adds pressure. It raises expectations to a point where anything less than elite is seen as failure. And yet, here he is, meeting those expectations, quietly exceeding them, not with theatrics, but with execution. So why is the narrative still clinging to these lazy tropes? Why is a young black quarterback with charisma and confidence still treated like he's too much? We've seen this before. When joy becomes a weapon. When swagger is mistaken for arrogance. When personality becomes a problem. And the same energy that makes fans fall in love with white quarterbacks gets spun as a liability when it comes in a different package. It's exhausting. And it's predictable. But Shedeur? He's not playing that game. He's not shrinking. He's not overcompensating. He's not changing his tone to make critics more comfortable. He's just showing up, doing the work, leading the reps, making the throws. And if that bothers people, good, because it should. It should bother people that a quarterback this polished, this intelligent, this prepared, still has to navigate this much doubt, just because he doesn't fit the mold some folks are still weirdly clinging to. But he's doing it. Every day. One rep at a time. And if the Browns have any awareness, any vision, they'll stop worrying about how it looks and start focusing on what it is. A comeback story that's only just beginning. A quarterback who came in with expectations, took a hit, got back up, and came back better. Not louder, not flashier, just better. It's the kind of story most teams dream of. But in Cleveland, those stories usually get buried under indecision and overthinking. Let's hope this time they finally get it right. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't waiting around. He's already moved on to the next rep, the next read, the next moment. And the Browns? They better catch up, or risk letting the best thing that's happened to this team in years slip right through their fingers, again. So now we ask, are they bold enough to trust what's right in front of them? Or will they fumble this too? Leave your thoughts below. Let us know what you think. Is Shedeur the answer? Or is Cleveland about to make another very Cleveland decision? Because one thing's for sure, the clock's ticking. And Shedeur Sanders? He's already ready.